Welcome back to another, and extremely delayed, Outriders build guide. I'm LtBuzzLitebeer, and I say delayed because after nearly 325 hours in this game, I finally received my very first Acari Chestpiece yesterday while live streaming, and I've got to tell you, I was simply overjoyed to finally receive this piece of armor that has eluded me for so long. Now, I know that many of you who use Acari have been rocking this build for a while, but I've received requests to put this all together and upload it, so here it is. But before we begin today's video, in case you aren't yet a sub, please smash that sub button for more intensive Outriders content, and don't forget to ring the bell to receive all future upload notifications from my channel. I'm really excited to finally be bringing this one to you, so let's get going. This Ash Blast debuff Pyro is the ultimate in clearing maps of targets, and it features huge amounts of AoE skills paired with decent amounts of burst damage. Now, mixed in are mods designed to not only greatly increase your damage output, but your teammates as well. And believe me, if you have one of these builds on your squad, it makes life so much easier when speed clearing CT15 missions. So let's first start off with the skill tree. Remember that with Pyromancer, you already start off with a 10% anomaly power class bonus, and you're going to need to kill in order to heal. And I'm just being upfront with you, sustain is really this setup's only one true weakness. Now, this build is essentially an anomaly power glass cannon, so just standing out there in the open while taking incoming rounds from insurgents will lead to a very quick death. Now, we're going to be using the Ashbreaker tree for this build, and you're going to see why in a moment. So first, take Inferno Weapon for weapon damage, Marble Orchard for 15% immobilized cooldown reductions, very important for this build. Next, Mark of the Anomaly, Trial of the Ashes for more damage versus targets afflicted with Ash, also a very crucial addition for this setup. Mark of the Anomaly again, and this will bring us to the first major node you want to select. Hot Situation grants you another 45% anomaly power for 10 seconds for activating an immobilized skill, which we have equipped on this build. Now, these nodes, plus your gear set bonuses and your mods, are going to lead to insane amounts of anomaly power that will simply melt your targets. Continuing on out the tree, and go ahead and grab Conflagration, Mark of the Anomaly, Inferno Weapon, Mark of the Anomaly again, and then you will want to select your next major node of Ashes to Ashes. Now, our build is essentially one giant ash factory, so this node and what it does is a perfect match. Vulnerability status adds even more damage to targets by boosting the damage percentages those targets take. So every time we inflict Ash, we are also boosting the damage that target will be hit with. Now, continue on out and grab Nimble as a Flame, not that it really matters for this build. Hurt twice as long for more damage versus elites and less damage taken from that enemy type. Trial of the Ashes for even more damage to targets afflicted with Ash. And finally, Marble Orchard again for more immobilized skill cooldowns. Do not continue out the Ashbreaker tree and take the final master node, as it's really just a waste for this build. At this point, you should have 5 class points left, so start back at the beginning of the class tree, but this time we want to take nodes in the Firestorm tree, starting with Magma Golem for a bit more sustain, Unquenchable for a bit of Skill Leech, Warm Up for the Ignite skills cooldown reductions, Magma Golem again for more sustain, and finally, Wildfire for another 10% cooldown reduction on all of our skills. Here is what the entire tree looks like once fully completed. Moving on, and for the skills, you will want to select Heatwave, which is going to serve a triple purpose of 1, burning targets and therefore damaging them. 2, through the use of our mods, will boost our damage and all of our teammates' damage versus those burning targets. And 3, through our armor set bonuses, will stack anomaly power each and every time we inflict burn through the use of this skill. Ash Blast will immobilize our targets in a huge radius around us, and remember that our class tree is set up to do massive amounts of damage versus targets afflicted with this status effect. Now, here's a very quick FYI for you. The small ash visual that you see on the ground when you activate this skill and how far it truly reaches out to targets are not one and the same. Now, once you start to get a feel for how far out the radius is, you can gauge where to position your character before activating Ash Blast. Overheat is the last skill to equip, and this qualifies as both an explosive and interrupt skill, but the main reason we want to use it is for the simple fact that when paired with our gear mods, Our setup is designed to consume the ash we blast it out onto our targets and then destroy them in that consumption. Now onto the weaponry, and you will want to have both the Death Shield and the Anemoy legendary shotguns. More specifically, you will want to have found these in the past and broken them down so that you have both the Fortress and Moaning Winds mods in your library. Then, for your Death Shield, keep Fortress for the extra bonus damage and equip Moaning Winds as the second weapon mod. For the Anemoy, it is the exact opposite. Keep Moaning Winds and then equip Fortress as the second mod. Now for this build, the sidearm does make a huge difference, and you will be using it a lot. So I chose the Torment and Agony legendary auto pistols, as they feature the Clip Combustion Tier 1 mod that deals a decent amount of damage on reload, and then I have added on Moaning Winds as the second mod. Now as you can see, Moaning Winds is an absolute must for this setup, so finding the Anemoy and tearing it down for this mod is truly essential. Moving on to the gear, and you don't have to have the mods on the exact same pieces as I am showing you, but you will want these exact mods somewhere on your build. Now for the mask, which looks positively awful on my character model, I have looted one with AP, cooldown reduction, and status power. For the mods, I went with Burnt Out and Ashen Boost. Now Burnt Out gives us and our teammates 25% more damage for 8 seconds versus targets that have been damaged by your heat wave, and it does stack. Ashen Boost is a no-brainer, as it boosts our damage versus enemies afflicted with Ash by another 20%. For the body armor, the best-in-class option for this build is the Armor of the Acari. The attributes of AP, Skill Life Leech, and Cooldown Reduction cannot be modified, but they are decent enough for our setup. This legendary gear piece comes with Detonator already on it for a flat 50% cooldown reduction across the board. Now I went ahead and left Tidal Wave as the second mod for an extra heat wave activation. Notice that the 3-piece set bonus for Acari grants us 50% anomaly power for 10 seconds for every enemy damaged by heat wave, and again, it stacks. So we want to hit as many targets as possible before activating our Ash Blast, and finally the Overheat for maximum coverage and damage. For the lower armor, I again have gone with Acari, and this waistcloth comes with AP, Skill Life Leech, and Cooldown Reduction as the attributes. Anomaly Echo gives us even more AP for skill activations, so just leave it in place. I have not changed out the second mod, but the best in class here is Death Sentence, which is a tier 3 mod found only on the Torturer's Mask, an item I still haven't found and looted. But once I find it, I will immediately equip it for the extra Ash Blast damage effects, especially the extra 30% anomaly damage versus targets afflicted with Ash. The gloves are looted items, or not exactly what I wanted in terms of attributes, but they came with AP, Skill Life Leech, and Cooldown Reduction. Ash Increase Range and Ride the Wave are both Tier 1 Pyromancer class mods. Now adding 66% range to our Ash Blast is crucial for maximum coverage, and Ride the Wave gives us that third heat wave for even more damage and AP stacking effects. The boots are the third and final piece of Acari, and they feature max health, skill life leech, and cooldown reduction, along with the super important Master Consumer mod, along with the Fire Tsunami mod I've equipped. Now Master Consumer consumes either burn or ash to deal damage, and if it consumes both, it increases the damage dealt by a whopping 150%. Fire Tsunami can be found on the Acari helmet, always available for purchase at Tiago, and it increases the width of the firewall for even more coverage and more targets affected. Here are the overall build stats, and at first the numbers aren't jaw-dropping, but once you start hitting targets with Heat Wave and stacking all that anomaly power into your Ash Blast and Overheat, this build simply melts targets from existence. Remember to use the correct skill activation sequencing as you progress through your mobs. All 3 firewalls in rapid succession, trying to include as many targets as possible, and remember that as you hit the first round of enemies, that anomaly power will stack onto your second and then again onto your third heat wave. Next, hit them with the Ash Blast and let them marinate for about a second before finally activating Overheat, which will consume all your status effects and just wipe the mobs off the map. Now for any hardened targets like elites, use your weapons by firing a shot, reloading to activate Moaning Winds, and then rapidly switching to your next weapon and repeating. You will want to be able to cycle through all 3 weapons quickly. Firing, initiating the reload, but you don't need to wait for it to finish, and then hit them with Moaning Winds and then just swap to the next weapon to finish them off. Well, there it all is with all the details for you to follow along, and I hope you enjoy this build. As always, I invite you all to join my community Discord server for an absolutely kicking Outriders community. Just check in this video description, click on the Discord invite link, accept the rules, and you are in. Now once there, one of our mods will be there to assist you, and we've got all sorts of channels for tips and tricks, artwork, and a comprehensive build guide area, and of course the ever popular LFG or looking for group channels for both carries and farming. Don't get overly frustrated with the matchmaker system as you wait far too long to eventually get placed into a group that is probably already AFK. Join my Discord and play this game as it was intended to be played, in a group, using our free chat rooms, on your mics, crushing your chosen content in a matter of minutes because you were smart and you used the LFG channels to find a group. Trust me when I say that in our Discord, we've got every angle of Outriders covered for you and a whole lot more. Don't forget to smash that sub button for more intensive Outriders content, and make sure to ring the bell to receive all future upload notifications from my channel. If you could take the time to rate and or share this video, it would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to find and follow me over on Twitch with weekly Outriders CT carry streams with viewers. Join my aforementioned Discord server for all things Outriders related, and of course, find me over on Twitter, posting on most things gaming related. Links to all of these platforms in the video description below. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.